Okay, we are going to begin. First and foremost, as you see in the chat, Sippy put in our contact information, which can also be found on each page of this guide. Either you receive this guide at the airport or you will receive or have received in your welcome bag that we have a dedicated individual who goes around throughout the country giving each person a welcome bag, and inside the welcome bag is also a hard copy of this guide. It's really important that you know how to reach us. Although you'll have one of our co-workers under our department called a regional coordinator. We have 14 regional coordinators throughout the country who make proactive calls to all of you, regardless of where you're living, on a monthly basis. Hi, how's it going? How are you? And as you begin to create a rhythm with your regional coordinator, they'll remember, oh, Adam, last month you told me whatever that was, and how did that go for you? And it's all about creating a relationship with you and really making sure that you know that you have what in Hebrew is called a ma'aneh. You have a person, and that person really genuinely cares. They work with our department, and that's how I know that they really care. Our department is here from today till 120, whereas that regional coordinator is going to be in touch with you for your first 12 months. We are here in Hebrew, the word is lanetzach, forever. And we can answer your questions at any time, or your concerns, or you heard something that you were supposed to get, didn't get, was supposed to happen, and you want to verify that, verify it with our department. You get paperwork and you're not sure what it is, don't just fill it out. Ask us. We are always here for you Sunday through Thursday, 9 to 5, or by email, which, although our work hours are 9 to 5, we are on our emails all the time. Pre-Aliyah, you had one pre-Aliyah advisor. Post-Aliyah, we are an entire team. And that's why you won't have only one post-Aliyah advisor. So the goal of this book, now I apologize because it actually, this PDF that I have is not laid out well, right? You see it in a weird way. You see this in a weird way, right? Yes. Excuse me, I am going to stop sharing a minute. And although it won't be the most updated, I will highlight what is going to be updated. The person who did it just didn't do it in a good format, but that's okay. Because I write this booklet, so I know what is written. Hold on, just give me one more minute. I apologize. One more sec. Well, I got you the right one. Just a moment. So sorry, so sorry. I can't find it in another minute. Then, now here we go. It was just in alphabetical order. Go and share, and we're good. Okay, everybody sees my screen? Yes? Everybody sees the screen?
Yes.
Yes, we do.
Okay, great, because I didn't see you. Cool. Okay, here we go. So it begins with a glossary, this guide. And the reason it begins with a glossary is because people are just going to naturally throw terms at you. They're going to ask you about your safach. The safach, one of these glossary terms, for example, is the addendum to the Tudat Zehut that you received at the airport. Is there anybody who is not an Oleh Chadash? Is there anyone who has the status of a previous A1 or somebody born in Israel to an Israeli parent or somebody who lived in Israel as a small child? Okay, that means that you all have the status of Oleh Chadash. Nobody came already with a ID number. Hi, Shayna. Thank you for putting on your camera. Okay, so people are just going to throw these terms at you. And instead of going, don't just go like this, because your inside voice is going, I have no idea what they're saying, but it sounds like they know what they're talking about. And therefore, I'm just going to go along. But don't be that person. Be a proactive, independent person, because you know that until you got on that plane, before you were a new immigrant in a new country, you were in control of everything that happened. And it's true that as a new immigrant, some of the hardest questions might be, what are your questions? Because you've never immigrated before. Even if you have Israel experience, you might not have experience with understanding about Sal Klita or understanding what is a kaspomat or other terms that are listed here. And again, here you have at the bottom our contact information. I'd like to just have a quick review of everything that you received at the airport. Again, nobody answered differently, so I'm going on the assumption that you are all Olim Chadashim, that nobody arrived with already having an ID number, a Mispar Zehut. You all received your Aliyah benefits booklet. This is a blue booklet, sort of looks like a passport, called a Tudat Ole. In it are two numbers. One is your ID number, your Mispag Tudat Zehut, most likely begins with 348. And the other is simply your Mispar Tudat Ole, and that is the number of your booklet that you received. It has in it your picture. It has in it the status of being an Ole Chadash. You also received your temporary Tudat Zehut, which came in two parts. One is a laminated card, which has your personal information. It has your ID number, your last name, your first name, your parents' name, your birth date in English and Hebrew, the country of your birth, your gender. It was issued in, it probably says Natbag in the airport, and an expiration date. The expiration date is 3 months after the date of issue. That date is underlined on that laminated card. That laminated card is what will become your permanent Tudat Zehut, your biometric Tudat Zehut, which we will discuss shortly. The other piece of your Tudat Zehut received is called your Sefach, what I mentioned earlier, the addendum to your personal information. This addendum is just a piece of paper because your address might change, because your marital status might change. It has on it your ID number, your name, your address, and if you open it up into like a skinny rectangle, it will have your marital status listed there. It's important to keep your address updated in the database of the Misrad Panim, because this is how you are found. When we talk about your biometric Tudat Zehut, I will also discuss on how to keep that information updated. You received a healthcare registration form. This healthcare registration form also has the logo of the Bituach Leumi, of the National Insurance Institute. And that's because it's the National Insurance Institute that gives you the ability and eligibility to be part of the healthcare system. It should say in English, the healthcare provider that you chose. You received your first cash payment of your Sal Klita. You received a declaration to open a bank account. You received a SIM card, which is to be used within Israel. It's not an international card. You will see here that it was issued by a company called Telzar. This is a gift to you from the Misrad HaKlita, not from Nefesh B'Nefesh. And should you decide to have a different carrier at any time, instead of Telzar, if you decide to move to any other of the carriers, but you wish to keep your number because you've already started to give out that number, you can do so by calling the customer service number listed here. You might be charged a 30 shekel customer service charge in order for them to have that action, in order for them to put forth that action, but it is something that you can do. This is also a good time for me to mention the municipal coordinators. We talked about the regional coordinators, which are under our department at Nefesh B'Nefesh. Municipal coordinators are coordinators within each city that are there to assist you. You're not sure about Ulpan, you're not sure about different things connected to your municipality. And you can find a listing either for those in Yerushalayim, those in Netanya. Pamela, that's where you mentioned you are. Malka, where are you living?
In Jerusalem.
Okay, and Shayna, where are you?
Hi, sorry, I'm in a lot right now.
Okay, so you can find a lot of important information listed here of who you can contact if you ever needed, or if you weren't sure why you were contacting them, call us and we can also help you understand why they might be a good address for you to turn to. Any questions thus far about what you received at the airport? Okay, moving ahead to your biometric two-dot Zehut. You might say, why is this my first step if I already have a temporary two-dot Zehut? The temporary two-dot Zehut has the same importance as your biometric. It's given so that you can move ahead with the different steps that you need to do, having a two-dot Zehut in hand. We list this here as the first step because it can take some time to get that appointment, and you do want to have the appointment before the date of expiration. How do you make this appointment? This appointment is made online at govisit.gov.il. It can be made in English or in Hebrew. What you will need is your ID number and your Israeli cell phone in order to make this appointment. Yes, Malka. I don't hear you.
Is it on the app also?
Sure.
Because I went into the app and the only one I saw was Misrat Aliyah Ve'Klita. It's not Misrat Pnim. What's the appointment with?
It looks like you're looking at the app for gov.il.
I went into the My Visit app.
So no, that is not correct. And nor will you be able to make an appointment at the Misrat Klita at the My Visit app. One used to a very long time ago.
Oh, people directed me to it. Okay.
So that's been updated quite some time ago. This is govisit.gov.il.
Okay.
What's annoying about the My Visit website is that the logo for the Minnesota Premium still shows up, but you won't go any further than clicking on the logo. So
Okay, great. So go visit .gov.il. Okay, thanks.
Okay, you're going to look for the logo as you see here. And although we say making an appointment at the Misrat HaPnim, what you're making an appointment for is a division of that office called the Population and Immigration Authority. If you need help, just let us know. We're so happy to help you. Appointments open up every morning between 7:30 and 9. So right now it's 2:15 in the afternoon. You might go to that site while you're listening to me and say, oh my gosh, I don't see any appointments until the end of January. What should I do? I would tell you, go look at again tomorrow morning and subsequent mornings, Sunday through Thursday. They are manually entered by those offices every morning, and they list either based on cancellations or they open up new appointments, however it may be. You don't have to go to the Misrat HaPnim in your region, meaning you don't have to go in Eilat, in Jerusalem, in Netanya, but you do want to go to an office that's going to be somewhat convenient for you, only because if for some reason you miss the delivery, and if for some reason you miss it being held at the post office, it will eventually be sent back to sender. So while you may have not minded taking an hour bus ride to go really a little bit far out to have the appointment, you most probably will mind when it comes to collecting it. At this appointment, they will take your picture with a special machine, and this is what makes it biometric. It comes like a plastic credit card, and it can take up to a month for it to come to your home. How will it come to your home? It may come by courier. It may come to a locker, just like you had Amazon lockers in the States. So to here we have lockers, or it may come to where I live, things come to the paper goods store. How will you know? You're going to get a piece of paper that has two very important pieces of information on it. One is a tracking number, which begins with the letters RR and ends in 3X. You will also get a 4-digit code. This code is very important to be able to present when you collect your document. No matter how you collect it, you're going to need to be able to give over this code. So you might want to take a picture of this piece of paper when you get it, just in case you lose, in case you lose it, which does happen. But without question, it will not be released to you without that 4-digit code. You can trace the arrival with that tracking number. Over here you see israelpost.co.il, and it can be traced in English. Do not expect to see any changes until about, I don't know, a week and a half after that appointment. If your name was not spelled correctly on your Tudat Ole or the Tudat Zehut that you received at the airport, this is a time that you can change that spelling. It's spelled phonetically based on your passport. So if your name was missing an ayin, should have an aleph, something to that degree, this is the time to change it. We do not encourage you to change your name from your given legal English name to perhaps your Hebrew name. My English name is Miriam, but my Hebrew name happens to be Malka. If I had decided, or still would want to decide, to change my Tudat Zehut to reflect my Hebrew name, it would affect by law all my American, I don't know if anybody here is Canadian, I don't mean to exclude anybody, because the US and Canadian governments have the same rule of thumb that a name change on the Tudat Zehut reflects a worldwide name change. This could affect any and all legal documents that you might have abroad. If you wish to introduce yourself as your Hebrew name to anyone and everyone, by all means do so and keep your legal name the same. Any questions? Just unmute yourself. Okay. Opening a bank account, which is step 2. If you already have a bank account for any reason, all you'll need to do is update it to now reflect your Tudat Zehut number and no longer your passport number. This is because you're now Israeli, and it's not uncommon that a person may have had previously a foreign bank account. If you've never had a bank account, you're going to open one so that we can get to step 3, which is activating the rest of your Sal Klita money, the money that you received at the airport. On every page, on every step, we tell you what you need to bring and what you should expect to receive when you go to this appointment. Now, when you go to the bank, it's very important that you're proactive. What do I need to know about banking at this bank? Is there online banking available? How will I get my statements? Can I get a bank card for the Kaspomat? That was one of those glossary words for the ATM. And how will I receive it? Will it be sent to me to my home? Do I need to come back to the bank to collect it? What about a credit card? What about if I'm going to be employed? And what if I'm employed abroad? And what if I want to transfer money? What if I want to get checks? What if? Only you know best the answer to those what if questions. And these are questions that you should come to this appointment with. You may need an appointment in order to open up your bank account. And that's simply because opening up a bank account can take a good 45 minutes with like this amount of paperwork. I myself last year moved from one bank to another, and it was the same, this amount of paperwork. And most Israelis don't understand all of that paperwork. But again, you want to be proactive and just have an understanding of what you're signing, why you're signing, and most important, you want to be proactive to find the answers to the questions that you have that affect you personally. If you are a US citizen, you will need to fill out what's called a W-9 form. It will be there at the bank for you. And if you have your hard copy of your Social Security card, I encourage you to bring it. If you don't have your Social Security card and you know the number, you must know your number in order to open up the account. That is fine. If the bank insists on you showing a hard copy of your Social Security card, just go to another bank. There is no legal reason for you to be able to provide them with a hard copy of your Social Security card. Make sure to bring with you everything that's listed here, mostly your Tudat Zehut, your Tudat Ole, and your Note of Future bank account. I would like to go back to biometric Tudat Zehut for a second. I forgot to mention 2 things. One, I said that it was here that I would mention about keeping information updated. Here is where you can go to date if you decide to move from Netanya to Jerusalem, from Jerusalem to Eilat, from Eilat to Beersheba. You'll bring with you a proof of your new address, whether that's your new chozeh, your new, someone help me with how you say chozeh in English, your contract. You're going to bring either a copy of your contract or some bills or something that proves that you are now at this new address. There is no appointment necessary for this address, for this update. Also, you will want to bring with you everything that you see listed here. In particular, you will want to make sure to bring with you the paperwork received at the airport. At the airport, you receive something very important called Da'at Ula'um. This is a piece of paper that proves that you are Jewish. There is no proof that you are Jewish on your Tudat Zehut, but it will be entered into the system so that for marriage purposes, for death purposes, it is always listed that you are Jewish in the database of the country. Sorry about that commercial break. Back to bank accounts. There's a great Facebook group called Living Financially Smarter in Israel. I encourage you to join it because this is where they discuss a lot of money matters. For example, you're going to be paid in US dollars. What's the best way for you to maneuver that, to get your money here into this country? Things about credit cards, just questions that you might have. Many banks in Israel, as you will see, are cashless. That means that even if you are living next door to the bank where you thought you would open an account, they might not have tellers there. They might not be able to open up an account right there. They may ask you to go to a main branch of that particular bank. We really use the Kaspomat, the ATM, for most banking services in Israel. I actually saw, for those of you who are living in Yerushalayim, I strongly encourage you to join the WhatsApp group for the municipality. They're having a Zoom coming up soon on banking in Israel. We also have a lot of different open forums that we have post Aliyah, which are always recorded, which you can find on YouTube, whether it's about banking, whether it's about travel documents, whether it's about getting your driver's license, lots of things that are post Aliyah specific. We have those open forums once a month. And if you just wanted to go to YouTube and put in NBN open forum, you'll find many of those listed there. Any questions about opening up a bank account?
Can I just say something, Miriam?
Please say two things.
Okay. So you obviously all received an invitation to today's Zoom, so we have your correct email address. However, if you change email addresses, this is just a reminder, or if you prefer the messages or emails to be sent to another email address, send an email to answers@mbn.org.il with a new address or with a different address, and we will be happy to make that change. Only one email is sent per family. That's the way our system works. So if you are a couple, you're going to have to share the email. Thank you.
Okay, excellent. Thank you, Tippi. Step 3. Step 3 has to do with making an appointment for the Misrad HaKlita. You sat with the very nice people at the Misrad HaKlita at the airport. This is now local to your region. To go to the Misrad HaKlita, and you're going to make that appointment by calling star 2994. How will you know which is the office in your region? Here we have towards the end on page number 11, I think it is. So for Jerusalem, it's on it's downtown and Mavo Matmid number 4. In Netanya, you're going to go to Rehov Barkat number 3. And for Eilat actually has its own, and I can get you the address, Shayna. It's not listed here, mostly because we don't have so many people who go to Eilat, but there is a local branch.
Thank you. That's so nice. Thank you. Don't worry about it.
Were you there already?
No, I'll find it. Don't worry. Thanks.
But okay, if you're good, then I'm good. This appointment is really very important. First and foremost, Without this appointment, you're never going to get the rest of your Sal Klita money. And then you're going to call us in 6 months and say, hey, how come I never got that money? It is also a time for you to discuss Ulpan. It's a time to discuss whether you want to go to Ulpan at the next session when an Ulpan in your area is going to open, or if you're looking for a specific type of Ulpan, whether it's one within a certain profession, whether it's one that's specifically for young people, whatever it is that you are looking for, this is a good time to discuss it. You need to bring with you everything that you see here, and what's going to happen is everything that you see here. They will also tell you about the municipal coordinator in your area and the different services that the Misrad HaKlita has to offer. Here you see in the blue box something called a gov.il account. A gov.il account, which is something that we can help you set up. It's a little bit involved and might be a little bit overwhelming to do in Hebrew. Even though we have a tutorial on it, it can still be overwhelming. And we're happy to help you. One of our volunteers are happy to help you because in addition to our department and in addition to the regional coordinators, we also have one of our coworkers who manages a whole base of volunteers throughout the country who are also happy to help with a lot of different needs that a person might have, as well as something that we have here in our office every Tuesday called Translation Tuesday. So for those of you living in Yerushalayim, you can come in based on making an appointment for Translation Tuesday, and we can help you with pretty much any one of those translation needs that you might have. Setting up a gov.il account gives you a couple of things. First of all, it gives you the ability to follow everything with Misrad HaKlita online. Did I get my payment? How many more payments am I supposed to get? Or you want to get an Ulpan voucher and you don't want to have to go in, and this way you can just type in that request and they will email you the Ulpan voucher. Or you have just a general question. This also, they now have an app called My Aliyah, which is also great. Then you can do everything from your phone. The gov.il account is the portal for a lot of different government services. So when it comes to converting your driver's license and now you want to pay for that, you can pay for that using a gov.il account. This is a personal portal that you can have set up. And there's many other actions that you can do. I just mentioned a few. Getting this appointment at the Misrad HaKlita can take up to 2 weeks. If you have trouble getting the appointment, please just let us know so that we can intervene on your behalf, because we are called Answers in Advocacy, not only because we have those answers to those questions, but advocacy means that we have those connections countrywide at the highest level. Not always the person in that specific office, but sometimes we have to go above that person. And those are the connections that we have as well. Any questions about making that appointment? Okay. Step 4, Kupat Cholim. Just as a quick review, we discussed making your appointment for your biometric Tudat Zehut and how you will track that and how you will receive it. We discussed opening up a bank account. We discussed making the appointment at the Misrad HaKlita, which must be done at the Misrad HaKlita within your region. And now we're talking about getting your healthcare provider set up. As I mentioned, Bituach Leumi, the National Insurance Institute, is the government body that's responsible for you to have healthcare, as well as many other insurances and pensions in the country, whether that's unemployment in its time, whether that is an old age pension in its time, lots of different things. Their site in English is excellent. It's btl.gov.il, just to have an understanding of what Bituach Leumi is. There is a very strong Bituach Leumi and healthcare connection. Like I said, Bituach Leumi is the government agency that allows you to have eligibility to be part of the provider that you chose. Excuse me. To finalize your registration with that provider, you're going to go without an appointment, but at times, of course, that your office is open. to the local Kupat Cholim that you have chosen. If you arrived last Wednesday, already by this week, tomorrow, you should be in the system. Adam, you should already be in that system. Did you already get your card? Is this something you already did?
Yeah. Yeah, for health insurance.
Mhm.
Yes,
Perfect.
definitely have that. Yeah.
Excellent. For those of you who have not, you will want to bring with you your Tudat Zahut, your Tudat Oleh. If you have your bank information already, bring that with you. If you don't have the bank information yet, it's okay. As well as the healthcare registration form that you got at the airport. Why are you going to bring your bank information or your Tudat Oleh? Because this is a time for you to register for the supplemental plan of your Kupat Cholim. We recommend individuals of all ages, regardless of your age, regardless of the state of your health today, to register for minimally the first tier of the supplemental plan of your chosen Kupat Cholim. Each of the Kupot have 2 tiers of a supplemental plan, and in addition to those 2 tiers, have a senior care plan. That means elder care to provide a caregiver at home or whatever that need might be when one gets to that situation in life. We strongly suggest that you choose minimally the first tier of supplemental care. The cost is based on age and nothing else. And what this does is that it totally broadens your benefits within your Kupat Cholim, whether it's medications that are not in the basket, whether it's to choose your own, God forbid, surgeon, if you break a limb and now you have to have surgery. Things happen in life, and it's an insurance policy. And like I said, the cost is only based on age. If you would like more information on if supplemental insurance is important to you, or what the cost is, or how to maneuver, please give us a call, and we will let you know and give you more of a one-on-one tutorial about the healthcare system. When you go to get your what's called the Kupat Cholim card, your magnetic card, because this is the card that you will bring every time you have a doctor's appointment, it's a good time to ask how to manage an emergency. Where should I go in the middle of the day if I cut my finger? Where should I go in the middle of the night if I have a stomach ache? How to manage care is really different in Israel and is important for you to be prepared for. And the height of that emergency is not about to be when you're going to find out the answers to those questions. So think again, be proactive, what's important to you, and to come with those questions to that, not necessarily appointment, but for when you go to get your card. We all have our areas of expertise in our department. Some of us with customs, some of us with healthcare, some of us with higher education. We all have different areas that we really focus on. And so when we say call us, we really got you covered, pretty much A to Z, no matter what your need may be.
Sorry, can I ask a question?
You can ask too.
Thanks. How long does it take for the magnetic card to come through? From the
You-
Kupat Cholim?
You should get a temporary one on the spot, and then they
Oh.
will mail one to you, which can be 2 to 4 weeks.
Thank you so much.
Remember that everything in this country, everything but everything, takes longer because of the war. And I don't mean to say it as an excuse. I mean to say it because we still have so many people who are on the front lines called to Miluim. We have so many people in different areas, and sometimes even the card itself might be printed in an area that was strongly affected by the war.
Just adding that there some of the larger clinics and some of the Kupot actually do it on the spot there. So the answer really it depends, but you should ask.
All right, thank you.
So I have a question.
Yes.
So Miriam, so you had mentioned something about that you should have your, when you go to the Kupat Cholim, you should have your bank account information, et cetera. But like, can you also go to the Kupat Cholim before you have the bank account stuff?
Yes, the reason that you're going with a bank account is because they will ask you for that information when you go to sign up for supplemental insurance. Now, you have 90 days to register for supplemental insurance without any penalty of time. So if you made Aliyah last Wednesday and you decide only next month to sign up for the supplement, that's fine. Okay, but if you decide 6 months from now to sign up for supplemental insurance, you can incur several months, up to 2 years of a waiting period to use the benefits. And that's because they don't want you to just sign up for all of a sudden when you need it. They want you to continue to pay that money. When you hear that you have the benefit of free healthcare for the first 6 months, this is covering your basic level of insurance. This is covering a benefit from the Bituach Leumi that says, oh, you are a new Ole and you might not have a job yet. So we are allowing you to have the freedom of an exemption of paying any healthcare contribution for the first 6 months that you are here. When it comes to the supplemental level of insurance, this is something that you opt into, and that is why you will start to pay that fee right away. I spoke about something perhaps now that you were not familiar with, and that's your healthcare contribution. Every individual in Israel pays a healthcare contribution, regardless of age, from the age of 18. There are some populations that will not pay any contribution to Bituach Leumi, such as a housewife or a soldier who is fighting, and other populations. For an individual who's under the age of retirement, the age of retirement as determined by Bituach Leumi, that individual will pay both a healthcare contribution and a national contribution to the Bituach Leumi. When you are working, these contributions are taken directly from your paycheck. You will see from a paycheck 3 nice chunks of money taken out of that paycheck. One is called Mas Briut, and this is for your healthcare contribution. One is called Bituach Leumi, and that is your national contribution that goes towards your state pension, as well as being eligible for using any of the other services from Bituach Leumi. And the other is your income tax, which we will discuss shortly on how to access your benefit as an Ole Chadash when paying income tax over your first 4.5 years. Now, the healthcare contribution needs to start to be paid at the 6-month mark. If you are under the age of retirement and you are not yet working, you might be eligible for something called Demei Kiyum. This is a benefit from the Misrad HaKlita. This is an income support in lieu of unemployment from your 6 to 12 month in the country. We send you monthly emails. So a lot of what I'm saying is like, yeah, okay, next, because people forget. It's hard. You just immigrated. I'm giving you a lot of very important information. So in our monthly emails, when you get closer to your 6-month mark, you're going to see information about Bituach Leumi. You're going to see information about Demei Kiyum and how does one influence the other. If you have other questions about this, or you would like to know more about it right now, even though you are still letting that dust settle, just let us know. And again, over the phone, we're happy to give you more of that one-on-one attention.
I just have a question. You said that retirement is deemed according to
The Bituach Leumi.
how do they make that?
It's based on birth date. What year were you born? Are you comfortable to share?
1961.
Okay, so your age of retirement is 62. And therefore, a person of retirement age is not eligible for Demei Kiyum, and will pay a healthcare contribution of 116 shekel a month from the 6-month mark. Now, that is of December 8th. As of January 1st, I can't promise you that it might go up to 118 shekel or something like that.
So in
Yeah.
other words, so I'm not going to have necessarily, if I wanted to work here, I could, but if I don't work here, I'm not necessarily going to get a pension.
Correct. But
Correct.
we can discuss that further one-on-one.
Okay.
Okay, Malka.
So this also might be a one-on-one question, but what if my paycheck is going into an American bank account?
That's a really important question because Adam, I don't know what you're doing here, and Shane, I don't know how you're keeping busy while you are here, but for anyone who is working abroad, it's really important to speak to an accountant who's going to be fluent in both US and Israeli tax law so that you can understand how to manage your Bituach Leumi contributions and taxes in general,
When are taxes due in Israel?
all the time. We pay tax every month. We don't have like
You
a
don't do like a
filing
yearly,
date. No,
do a
there's
yearly-
there's a filing date for like tax refund, like for charity tax refund. But when it comes to income tax, we pay that out of our paycheck.
Mhm. I see. And what about the charity funds? When is that due?
I don't remember exactly.
Okay,
I could tell you when I get my check, but I
That's
don't know when it gets filed.
okay.
But it's important, you know, there's so many aspects about living in a new country. And although I've lived here almost 30 years, you know, just with life cycles, sometimes we're just hit with information. And we want to know everything up front because we don't want to be a friar. We don't want to be that pushover who didn't know. And the worst thing that a person says is, oh my gosh, didn't you know? It's like an obnoxious thing to hear. But as your own questions arise, find out the answers to your own personal questions. And although I didn't know the answer to that question, I know that I have a way to get you that answer. I don't think child benefits is appropriate for anybody listening today. Is anybody okay? I'm skipping to step 7, which is your municipal tax discount, your Arnona discount. Whether you rent or whether you own, you have a responsibility to pay municipal tax unless it was already stated in your contract that you do not have that responsibility, that it's included in your rental. Not all cities offer the same discount, so there are some areas that don't offer a discount at all. It is up to a municipality to give this permission, to give this discount to new Olim. Jerusalem gives a discount of 70%. Tel Aviv, for example, gives, of 90%. Tel Aviv, for example, gives a discount of 50%. So even though there are discounts, it also, like I said, might not be the same from city to city. How can you find out? Either you can call us or you can call your municipal coordinator, something that I mentioned earlier. The Arnona discount can be activated on the website of your municipality. It might end up being a 2-step process. First, to put the Arnona bill in your name, and then to activate the discount. You must have a 12-month apartment rental contract or proof of ownership in order to activate this discount. If you have a 12-month rental contract, but you might move in the middle, then very often, I would even say most often, the discount will go with you to your next apartment. But it can't start without providing a 12-month contract. This is a benefit that you have a 24-month window for to use in a 12-month period within 24 months. The benefit will not go past that 24-month date. So if you made Aliyah on December 8th, 2024, it's not going to go past December 8th, 2026. You will want to activate it beforehand. You might decide not to activate it this year, and that's your prerogative. It's up to you. If you have questions about the Arnona discounts, then ask us, or you can turn to your municipal coordinator, as I mentioned. Beyond your OLED discount, there are other discounts that you might be eligible for, like a senior discount, like a student discount, like based on low income discount. You can't double dip, but I just sort of want to plant the seed for the future that once your OLED discount is over, there may be another discount that you might be eligible for. It is not retroactive. Is anybody apartment sharing? Okay. Yes, Adam, are you apartment sharing? Or you had a question?
Like with roommates, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can still get your Arnona discount as long as your name is on the contract, and the discount will be given to you based on the meterage of your living space. So if you're living with 3 other people and you're living in 100 square meters, you will get the discount based on 25 square meters.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, pleasure. Converting your driver's license. If you have history of driving for 5 consecutive years before your date of Aliyah and a valid driver's license at the time of your Aliyah, you will have a relatively easy conversion process of collecting important information as you see here. It begins with an online health declaration for all Israelis. It has nothing to do with being a new immigrant. There are some people who feel very affronted that they have to answer questions about the state of their health, but this is for all Israelis. This online, it's called a Tofes Yarok because one time when it was a hard copy, the print was in green. It can be found on our website. And we have a guide for you in English if you have trouble with it in Hebrew, or again, use our volunteer services or Translation Tuesday services, or just call us and we'll help you. And you must answer all of the questions. If you answer yes to any of these questions, stop with the form, get a letter from your family doctor that says, regardless of that particular need, he is comfortable to sign that it will not inhibit your driving. Now, your doctor has no legal reason to write such a letter. It's only if he or she wishes to. If the doctor says, no, I'm so sorry, I'm not comfortable with that, then you have to accept his or her answer. If you're going to mark yes because you take blood pressure medication or cholesterol medication, there is really no need to be concerned that it's going to hold up your application process. But if you have something a little bit more serious, if you take medication for some serious medical need, know that it might take a little bit longer for you to have this conversion process. But again, if you have a letter from the doctor, it may influence so that they already realize that although you take that medication or have that particular need, it just doesn't inhibit your driving. After filling that out, you will need to go and get your eyes tested and your picture taken at a designated optical store. Designated doesn't mean that you see a NEAT or you see Optica Helbrin at every corner. Rather, designated means they are working in coordination with the Misrad HaTachbura, with the Ministry of Transportation. How will you know where is there a designated optical store in your area? On this link that you see here, you can just put in your city and you will be able to find out where to go. For example, in Jerusalem, there are 3 different places that a person can go to. The information will stay in the computer so that when you get to the next step of going to the DMV, they will see all of this information already in your file. We tell you what you need to bring with you and what you're going to get on this link that you see here, nbn.org.il/driving. It includes your Tudat Zehut, your Tudat Oleh, the proof of driving for 5 consecutive years prior to your date of Aliyah, and you will be given a temporary license, which will be good for 6 months' time. Your formal license will be mailed to your home. Again, that home will be the address listed on your Tudat Zehut, so you want to make sure that that's up to date. And it can take up to 3 months until you receive that in the mail. You have 1 full year or 12 months to actively drive on your foreign license following 3 months abroad. That means if you made Aliyah in December, but you were here for a wedding in October, then you have only until October 2025 to drive on your foreign license. This is an international law, and what it affects is your insurance. Any questions about converting your license? If you don't have your previous license, but of course you know that you've been driving for 5 years, you can get something called an abstract history or a lifetime history from your DMV, from the state where you made Aliyah from, or it might be multiple states depending if you moved a couple of times abroad. What must be listed is the date of issue showing that you have consecutive driving. Any questions?
I do.
Okay.
What if you don't do it in that what's the period of time to do this?
You have 5 years to convert your license, but
okay.
only 1 year to actively drive. Now, some people say, you know what? I'm living wherever I'm living. There's great public transport. I'm really not interested. But it's something good to have. What if you're, driving with other people and all of a sudden they need to give the wheel over to somebody else? You want to rent a car in the future. It isn't something that you need to necessarily be worried to do today, but do keep it in mind that you have a 5-year window.
Is it giving up? Does it mean like giving up my foreign license?
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all, not at all, not at all. You can continue to renew that foreign license as you wish.
Okay.
And do they make you
Um,
take an exam, like either a written or a practical exam?
Not if you have 5 years of proof that you've been driving consecutively.
Okay.
Is 5 years of proof just 5 years of having a driver's license, or do you have to show you had driver insurance or something?
No, that's what they want to see. They want to see your license.
Oh,
Nobody
okay.
cares how many red lights you ran.
Okay. So it's 5 years of having a driver's license, not really proof of driving.
Correct. They
Okay.
assume the tovulura, for good or for bad, that
Okay.
if you have the driver's license, you know how to
Okay.
drive. I will
Okay.
tell you that driving in Israel is different. Perhaps you've already had that experience. There's other things also to know about driving. For example, we don't have right on red. What a blue and white parking, what the curb painted blue and white means. What does red and yellow mean? What does red and white mean? These are all things to learn, where you can find that information on our website. There's other websites that even have just a listing of all the driving signs, like no parking or yield or whatever. It's your responsibility as a driver on the road, just as when I go abroad and I drive in a state that I'm not familiar with, what are the laws of that town? We also have, we don't really have, we have toll roads. I was going to say we don't have like with toll booths, but we have electronic toll roads where, let's say Route 6, for example, where you will then be billed for going on that road. And again, they're going to bill you according to the address on your Teudat Zehut. So if you move and you never updated this really happens to people, you never updated your address, and then that bill is going to accrue and accrue and accrue. And one day they will find you and you'll find out that your bank account has been frozen or something, drastic because you never updated your address. Adam, you had a question?
Yeah, what is proof of having a license for 5 years? Just bringing in my license, and how will they know that it's a 5-year?
It has to
It's-
be, sorry, Miriam, just I want to be clear. It has to be 5 years, 5 consecutive years exactly prior to your Aliyah date. They don't really care if somebody's been driving from 1990 to 1995. They want it 5 years from your Aliyah, backwards from your Aliyah date.
Okay.
You're showing your actual driver's license or this abstract history that I spoke of.
The driver's license has an issue date on it. Sometimes it was issued more than 5 years ago. Sometimes it wasn't. If it was, then that's all you need to show. If it wasn't, as Miriam said, the abstract.
Okay, yeah, because I was gonna say mine was recently renewed, and so it probably would say it was issued more recently. What does abstract mean, or how would I acquire like a?
You don't have your previous license?
It's I don't know if I brought it over with me here.
Is there someone who can take a picture of it?
I can find out. I have to think about that. Yeah.
See, if there's someone who could take a picture of it front and back, then perhaps we can help you facilitate that. An abstract, so when a person goes to their DMV website, every state is different. For example, Ohio, I believe it is, will only give a 3-year history, not a 5-year history. And when that happens, then that person actually ends up having to take some lessons, and it's really annoying for that individual. But what you want to get is the piece of paper that says date of issue, and that depending on how many licenses, date of issue, expiration, etc.
Okay.
Shayna, did you have a question?
Yeah, hi. I also just made Aliyah. My name is Kayla. I have my
Oh.
current license. It's a similar question. It's issued 2021. My previous license, I have a photo of just the front of it. You think that would be enough?
You should try.
I could try it. All right.
Always try,
Thank you.
okay? And if they give you a hard time, so let us know.
All right, thanks.
I'll tell you, we once had somebody from Canada, and just like all of us immigrants learn certain words in Hebrew, and those are the words we learn. We're not necessarily going to learn the synonym for that word. And so Israelis are taught to look for the word issue. And that's the word that they look for. But this person from Canada, it didn't say the word issue. It had some synonym for the word issue. And she was given, no, it's not, and this and that, until we intervened. So you laugh now because it wasn't you. But never hesitate to be in touch, because we're really good at what we do. Okay. Getting an Israeli passport. After spending a year doing all of your paperwork, right? Now everybody wants to know how they can travel. I am so happy to say that as of this morning, the ink is still a little bit damp. This regulation of traveling under your valid foreign passport in and out of Israel has now been extended to December 31st, 2025. That means that for the next year, you need not worry about getting any Israeli travel documentation.
Good.
If you want to, that is your prerogative. And that is something that you can apply for 90 days after your date of Aliyah, not beforehand. What you will be issued is something called a Tudat Ma'avar. This is a provisional passport. It's not really a passport. It's a travel document. It's a booklet. It is not blue. It's red, and it's biometric. It costs money, and it will be good for 5 years' time. If you wish to wait until you can apply for a proper passport, which will be given to you as a first 5-year passport, you will make that appointment for a year and a day after your Aliyah anniversary.
Do you have to have been in Israel for that year and 1 day the entire time?
You have to be able to prove that you were a resident for minimally 75% of the time.
And what if I'm back and forth and it doesn't equal 75% of the time?
And then you will be given a Tudat Ma'avar, which is good for 5 years, and it's fine.
But I also don't need it until through December 2025, right?
Correct.
Perfect.
Correct.
Okay, great,
And
great, thanks.
exit and enter Israel as many times as they wish on the foreign passport. A very important note, which is listed here somewhere, is to keep your little entrance ticket from the Border Patrol, just to make sure that you have been registered as coming back in the country. What do I mean by that? When you come in on an Israeli passport, automatically all the dots get connected and any government office knows that you are back in the country. When you come in on your American or Canadian passport, those dots might not connect quite as easily. And this happened recently, that a person didn't know this until she was here maybe 2-3 months. And she realized that she wasn't getting her rental subsidy, one of the benefits, and she just hadn't been computed back into the country. And she had that ticket. We sent it forward to the appropriate office, to mark her back into the country, and that was that. If you travel during the time that you're receiving your Sal Klita money, basically for the first 6 months that you are here, because we just assume that you're going to initiate that benefit right away, it will stop if you have traveled over the date line of receiving the next Sal Klita payment. Sal Klita payments are typically given within the first 10 days of the month. When you go for your appointment, you'll be given a table of when to expect your payments. There's no reason for you to let them know you're traveling. They will know you're traveling. And payment will be reinstated automatically 14 days after your arrival at the next payment period. So that if the time that you are meant to receive your payment is after the 10th of the next month, know that you only might receive it the month afterwards. You will never lose the amount that you are meant to receive. It will always go forward, or you might get a double payment to your benefit.
So you just said we don't need to inform them, but it says here important to inform them?
We're getting there. Important to
Oh, it's not
inform.
the same thing. Oh, okay, okay.
This is the Bituach Leumi.
Oh,
Now
sorry,
you're going to be traveling for work back and forth, Malka?
Yeah, yeah,
How long? Like 10 days here, 10 days there?
yeah.
So first and foremost, when you go to the Miswara Klita, let them know
Okay,
that this is your plan. And for Bituach Leumi, I would wait and see. Bituach Leumi wants to know that Israel is your center of life. This became a very big issue that we have really worked hard on re-educating the OLEP population about over the past year and a half to 2 years. With Bituach Leumi saying, you know, we give you all these benefits, we give you healthcare, we give you unemployment, we give you this, we give you that, and you made Aliyah, but you're not really staying here. And we all know of those people who made Aliyah, let's say during Corona, just so that they could have a passport to come in and out. We all know of those people who make Aliyah, but not necessarily are going to be living here as their center of life. What does center of life mean? It means, first of all, physical. How much physical time are you spending in the country? And second of all, do you own a home here? Do you have a contract to rent here? What you have here that's proving Israel is your center of life. So Malka, for example, the Bituach Leumi people will see, oh, she's in the country, she's out of the country, she's in, she's out, but on a regular basis, they may contact you to say, hey, what's your deal? And they might not, because they'll see this is your rhythm.
okay.
When you've just made Aliyah, and let's say if you're leaving in another week or so, right?
Oh, I'm actually not planning to leave for another 3, 4 months. I thought I would be settled unless the unexpected happens.
Okay, great.
Then I would have, I'm gonna have, it does, I mean, we'd have to talk about this in the group. It's not right, but I'll talk about it. I'll talk about it one-on-one.
It's really meant to, I'll just say for everyone, if you're taking a trip for more than a consecutive month abroad, it's important to notify Bituach Leumi that you are leaving and coming back. They will see that you left, but they have no clue that you're coming back. And this is where they have said, like, enough. We want to know who's here and who isn't. That being said, when you notify them, it's not a guarantee that they won't. Oh my gosh, my English is really not working. They won't cancel your residency. That's not really the word I want to use. How do you say mevatel? I guess cancel.
Void.
Void. Good. Void. Malka's giving us our Ulpan lesson. They won't kick you out of the healthcare system. And that is not something that you want to happen. If it does happen, residency can be reinstated. And it's easier to reinstate when we, as your advocates, say, but look, you know, Miriam Naiman let you know that she was traveling for 2 months abroad and now she's back. And that helps and that works. If you are gone for a significant amount of time, not only might you be kicked off the healthcare system as a whole, but your provider might also kick you off the supplemental plan of your Kupat Cholim. So
Even if you're paying the supplemental, even if you're choosing to pay it, you aren't showing an extra commitment by paying it.
So even if now your travel back and forth for work is not what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
I'm really talking about we have plenty of people who make Aliyah and they leave because their FBI background check was expiring, but really they need to go back, close up their home, close up their office, close up this, close up that, and they might be gone for another 8 or 9 months.
Oh.
I'm not referring to somebody who's going back and forth for work purposes, for employment purposes. Adam, did you have a question?
No, thanks.
Okay, great.
I have a question, because my husband is not making Aliyah yet, so I'm gonna be going back and forth also. So do I need to tell them should I tell them, like, my husband's living, abroad, so I'm gonna be back and forth, I'm gonna be here till, like, let's say February 9th, and then planning to come again in May for 2 months. So I'm gonna probably, basically split the year.
Right, so let's discuss that more one-on-one, okay?
Okay.
Okay. If you do decide to apply for what's called a Tudat Mavar, which is your prerogative to do so. Know that you won't automatically be given a tracking number. Make sure to be proactive and ask for one. It takes longer for the Tudat Mavar or passport to arrive than it does the Tudat Zehut. And a person can really be very much in the dark, which is why we bold here, we encourage you to ask the clerk for a tracking number. Okay, here we have the address for all of the different Misvadei HaKlita in the country. Shayna, you're going to look up on your own. And again, as it said in the step 3, and you see here, just call star 2994 during business hours. I would say call between 8 and 3 or 9 and 3 to make this appointment. Here you have a review of your rights and benefits. As I mentioned earlier, of the Arnona discount with a window of 24 months, and Malka reminded me to mention that the driver's license conversion is for 5 years. All rights and benefits have a point of validity of when they are good and when they expire. And you don't want to lose your Aliyah benefits because they are by and large not at all retroactive. If you are working in Israel, your income tax will be taken from your paycheck, and you are entitled to an income tax reduction over your first 4.5 years. When you are employed in Israel, you fill out something called a 101 form, and this is where they ask about your dependents, and they ask you lots of different questions. And one of the questions is your year of Aliyah. If this applies to you, you will want to speak with the HR department of your place of employment so that you can make sure to get that discount. Just one more things I'm going to mention here, bring your attention to here. One is your rental assistance, which will begin in the 7th month of your Aliyah. If you have friends who made Aliyah before February 28th, 2024, their benefit is different than yours because there was a new regulation passed in the Knesset not so long ago. So for those people who made Aliyah past March the 1st, 2024, it's a different amount of money that you are receiving and a different timetable. If you want to know what you can expect to receive, you can find it here on this link. The amount that one receives is based on familial status, whether a person is single or married. So Pamela, you are married, but you are really here as a single person. So even though your Tudat Zehut is married, it doesn't say who you're married to because he is not yet an Israeli citizen. You will get as an individual. The other thing I wanted to just make note of is your customs benefit. You have 3 years to use this customs benefit, and while you may or may not consider using this for shipment, for like a lift of your belongings and things from abroad, know that it can also be applied for where import tax would otherwise be taken. For example, Tzipi and myself can order from Amazon up to $75 without paying any added meches, any added import tax. But you as Olim Chadashim might be able to order above that using this particular benefit. Or if you know that you're going to bring in something from a trip abroad and you want to use this benefit. Before you do something that you're not 100% familiar with or you don't have experience with, please ask so that you don't get stuck. Getting stuck happens and it's not so fun. The orange pages bring me to emergency information. You see it's sort of on a dotted line here, perforated so that you can cut it out, but know where to turn. In the midst of that emergency, you're not going to start to look up information or call your girlfriend or boyfriend or whoever you have here to find out where to get that information. Know what to do if you get a flat tire on the road, who you can call. You can call, they have Yedidim, which is emergency auto assistance 24/6. They do not operate on Shabbat. All of the Kupot Cholim offer you a 24-hour a day, 7-day-a-week call center availability. You can use this to make a doctor's appointment if you're not comfortable with using the app or with using just, online. Although there are numbers here for English, the first sort of recording that you'll get is in English, but the real person that you speak to may not speak English. It doesn't matter which kupa you have. And there's nothing we can really do about it. But what is more important is that you can call in the middle of the night to say, this is what's going on. I'd like to speak to a nurse. I'd like to speak to a doctor. And know that that nurse or doctor, whoever you speak to, is going to speak English for you to get your point across. I woke up, I have a raging fever, I cut myself, I think I broke something. What should I do next? And that's because using the emergency room works very differently in Israel. I mentioned earlier that you're going to go to your kupa, you're going to ask these questions. And here too, you're not going to just show up at the emergency room without some sort of referral. There are urgent care centers that one can turn to in July. We have Terran, for example, and depending on the kupa, and how should you manage your urgent care need? This is something for you to ask people to kupat holim. I'm not sure if we're holding in our national emergency. I'm feeling myself a little bit confused. Where I live, we had a siren last Sunday, and we got a ceasefire up north. We don't have a ceasefire. Our hostages are still very much missing and not at home. Know about the Picud HaOref website, which is the Home Front Command website. It is irresponsible not to know in today's day and age what to do if you hear a siren. This can be an app on your phone, it's very loud. If you decide to put an app on your phone, only do your region. Shayna, who's in Eilat, has no need to know about sirens going off in Haifa and vice versa. We have some excellent resources. Please make use of them. I mentioned many of them. And just call us if you're not knowing where to turn for what. SHIELD is a great resource. SHIELD is a Citizens Advice Bureau found in most cities throughout the country. They will offer you assistance with things like you just order a new couch and the couch was delivered and it's beautiful. Until you notice on the back there's this big grease stain from the truck. And you don't want this couch. You want a spanking new couch. And the company or the store that you bought it from is giving you a really hard time. SHIELD can really help you advocate for that. It is a free service. We also have connections and we have resources for emotional help. I don't want to call it mental health. But making Aliyah is a noted traumatic event. Immigration is a noted traumatic event in a person's lifetime. And sometimes we need help just to get through a particular dark spot. Things are not working out the way we planned. You just need someone to talk to. We're always here for you, but we're not a mental health office, and we are happy to guide you should that be needed. Just let us know. We can't read your mind, and we can't know what you need, and we can't know the questions that you have, and we can't know that you updated your phone number or your email address. And if I haven't said it enough, we can't know how proactive or not proactive you're being to know what services that we have within our capability to offer you. So please be in touch. You can be in touch with us at our Jerusalem office, and although it's not listed here because I didn't put on the new one, our Tel Aviv office is now open for business, and it is by appointment only. So if you want to meet us in Tel Aviv, you can do so by calling us at *3680 or emailing us at answers@nbn.org.il. The Israel calendar is a great way to find out about events. Hanukkah's coming up. I want to make friends. I want to say, hi, I'm a fantastic person and you should be my friend. What can I find out that's going on in English in the area where I live, or not the area where I live? I want to come down to Jerusalem. I want to go up to Netanya. I want to go down to Eilat and visit Shayna. What's going on around town for English speakers? And of course, all of the different services that we have. This brings us to the end. You're welcome to stay for questions if you feel that all of your questions have been answered. I wish you a fantastic day on the part of myself and Sippy and our entire department. And we do look forward to hearing from you. Does anybody have any questions?
Thank you so, so much.
You're so
Thank you.
welcome. Stay in touch.
Thank
Anybody
you.
else?
Thank you very much.
Thanks very much.
Pleasure, pleasure,
Thanks, bye.
pleasure. Have a great day.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.